I am proud to introduce the Marcus Book Club, which I believe are now celebrating their 13th year together. And you all must really like each other. But let's introduce you to Christine.
Hi, how are you?
Great, thanks. And Deborah.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming. Yolanda.
Yes, and thank you for giving us this opportunity to display the best book club in the whole world.
Woo, I love it. And LaRonda.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great, thank you. And Dara.
Nice to be here.
So nice to have you here. So the book that they have chosen is Surviving Chadwick, written by Philip Wilhite. And we're going to go and meet Philip right now.
I decided to write Surviving Chadwick to tell my story because I also attended a boarding school in Ojai, California. The main character is Isaiah Isaacson, who is a basketball player, and he is going to miss home, he's going to miss basketball, he's going to miss all of his friends. I wanted to tell a story about Oakland. There's so many great things about the city. Isaiah experienced a lot of the things that I experienced growing up here in Oakland. What I want readers to get out of this story, you have to take advantage of all opportunities.
Thank you so much, Philip. Now, how did you all get together, and where is the Marcus Book Club name come from?
The Marcus Book Club came out of the Marcus Book Store, one located in Oakland and one here in San Francisco, which is actually celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, the oldest Black-owned bookstore in the country. And the owner of the bookstore read a book 13 years ago and wanted to talk about it and began to start the Marcus Book Club.
Now, how did you pick this book, Surviving Chadwick?
That's easy. We chose this book because Philip Wilhite is actually a member of Marcus Book Club.
What was in it that was special for you?
For me, it's basically a coming-of-age story. It's actually set in Oakland, so that was also good since it's set in the Bay Area and we could identify with certain landmarks or certain people that he mentioned. But what I particularly liked is that it's also, even though adults can enjoy it, I believe that teenagers also can enjoy it, and I think it's really important to get teens to read. It's basically about a youngster who's in high school, and his parents want him to have a better education, so they sent him away to an exclusive prep school that's primarily white, and he's African American. And it's basically about how he tries to fit in and the obstacles that he faces.
Did you agree with Philip's parents for sending him to that school?
Actually, I did not, only because I thought he was so against it. And I didn't think he would be able to really appreciate it since he was really against it. And I did admire that they wanted a better life for him, but I think they probably should have went about it in a different way, maybe waited until he was a little bit older and he could appreciate it. So that's why I sort of didn't agree with them forcing him to go.
And me as a parent, I did agree with the parents in the book because as a parent, we always want what's best for our children, and we tend to know a little more than them, although they may be rebellious and not want to do what we like them to do.
I was kind of all over the map with it. I struggled with it a little bit just because I think education is so much broader than just the setting, the classroom setting or the book you're reading. It has so much to do with the social aspect of it. So I thought in the character's name was Isaiah. So in Isaiah's parents' position, would I have sent my son away to a place that was pretty much hostile, somewhat foreign to him, and how good would that be? But the alternative was not as good as they wanted it to be. So we just kind of went back and forth in the reading and the discussing of this about whether we would have actually sent him off.
Isaiah had a chance where his parents were working parents and they were together. So I think Isaiah would have been okay. But as you said, as parents, you try to give your children the best, and you do, and then you try and you do what you can, and then let them make their choices.
Do you think things have changed since the 70s?
I actually think we've regressed. I think in the late 80s, it was getting better. I don't think that minority students, particularly Latinos and African Americans, are welcome in a lot of schools.
I was a contemporary of Isaiah, so that whole environment and time and coming of age in Oakland in the 70s, I was there when that was happening. And the fact that we're still having these conversations, whether to send our children of color to the neighborhood school or take them out of their environment, which is often loving and supporting, but may not have the academic standing. To take them somewhere where people don't want you to be there, where you don't feel comfortable with anything. I mean, the whole, issue around manners. When he came back home for Thanksgiving, what was he eating, his chicken with a fork or something like that? And they were like, put that fork down, But I thought how, you learn early on to kind of navigate between two worlds. And I think that's the part he didn't get fast enough, is how to switch back and forth between the two worlds that, he was a part of. The first thing I did after I read this was share this with all of my friends who had middle school and high school, children, or friends that I know that teach school. It's like, get this on the reading list. This is what your kids need to be reading in their schools.
Christine, what do you think about how he handled his experiences?
I thought he was a little extreme, but I also think that he forgot who was at home. Because I know when I was growing up, it didn't matter what was going on. I wasn't going to embarrass my mom or my dad, because I didn't ever want them to come to school other than to pick me up. Mm-hmm. So I think that was the main difference.
What part of the book did you find either important or inspirational? What stuck out for you?
I think it's very important for all people to be versatile, to know that just my little world is not all it is. I tell my daughters, learn something about everything. Just be versatile. Learn this, whatever you can get it.
You're such a good mom. Your daughters are so lucky.
I try.
So wonderful. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for coming by. It's just been a pleasure to have a chance to chat with you all.
Thank you.
Next, we will be talking about Good Morning Afghanistan, written by Wasim Mahmood, and it's about a media company that goes to Afghanistan after 9/11. We'll be right back.